are often the quietest. They're not the ones bragging about their accomplishments or shouting their plans from the rooftop. No, they're the ones listening, observing, and absorbing. They're the ones who understand that true power lies in stillness. Now, I'm not saying you can never speak. Communication is crucial, of course. But what I'm saying is that we need to learn the art of strategic silence. We need to cultivate the ability to be still, to listen, not just with our ears, but with our entire being. Think about it. When you're silent, truly silent, what happens? Your mind clears. The constant chatter in your head begins to quiet down. And in that silence, in that stillness, something magical happens. Ideas start to flow. Clarity emerging. Solutions to problems you've been grappling with for months suddenly become crystal clear. Fast-paced world. They understood that silence is not empty. It's full of answers. But let's get practical for a moment. How can you start incorporating more silence into your life? Well, it starts with a decision to value silence, to seek it out, to create it in your life. First, start your day with silence. Before you check your phone, before you turn on the TV or radio, take a few moments to sit in silence. Just breathe. Just be. You'll be amazed at how this simple practice can set the tone for your entire day. Second, practice active listening. When someone is speaking to you, really listen. Don't just wait for your turn to talk. Listen with your whole being. This is a form of silence. The silence of your own thoughts as you truly hear another person. Third, take regular breaks from technology. Our devices are wonderful tools, but they're also sources of constant noise and distraction. Set aside times each day to disconnect. You might feel uncomfortable at first, but stick with it. In that discomfort lies growth. Fourth, spend time in nature. Nature has a way of quieting the mind like nothing else. Whether it's a walk in the park or a hike in the mountain, make time to immerse yourself in the natural world. Fifth, practice mindfulness. This doesn't have to mean formal meditation, although that's great too. It can be as simple as bringing your full attention to whatever you're doing in the moment. When you're eating, just eat. When you're walking, just walk. This kind of mindful presence is a form of inner silence. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, this all sounds great, but I have a busy life. I have responsibilities. I can't just sit around being silent all day. And you're right. I'm not suggesting you become a monk unless that's your calling, of course. What I'm suggesting is that you find a balance. Think of silence as a tool in your success toolkit. Just like you make time for exercise to keep your body healthy. Make time for silence to keep your mind clear and your spirit aligned. It's not about escaping your responsibilities. It's about enhancing your ability to meet them. You see, when you cultivate silence, you become more efficient in everything you do. You make better decisions because you're operating from a place of clarity rather than reactivity. You communicate more effectively because you're truly listening, not just waiting. You become more creative because you're giving your mind the space it needs to make new connections. But here's the real secret. When you embrace silence, you start to understand who you truly are. Not who others expect you to be. Not who you think you should be, but who you are at your core. And when you operate from that place of authenticity, amazing things start to happen. You start to attract the right opportunities because you're no longer chasing after things that aren't aligned with your true self. You start to build deeper, more meaningful relationships because you're coming from a place of genuine self-awareness. You start to achieve your goal with less struggle because you're no longer fighting against your own nature. Now, I want to be clear about something. When I say be silent, I don't mean be passive. I don't mean sit back and wait for life to happen to you. What I mean is to operate from a place of inner stillness, of quiet confidence. Think of it like this. Have you ever seen a truly great athlete in action? They move with a kind of effortless power. There's no wasted energy, no unnecessary movement. They're fully present, fully focused. That's the kind of silence I'm talking about. It's not an action. It's focused, purposeful action that comes from a place of inner quiet. The same principle applies in business, in relationships, in every area of life. When you learn to be silent, to listen deeply, to observe keenly, you develop a kind of superpower. You see opportunities that others miss. You understand people in a way that builds trust and loyalty. You make decisions based on deep insight rather than superficial information. But here's the thing. This kind of silence takes practice. In our noisy world, it's a skill that we need to cultivate deliberately. It might feel uncomfortable at first. You might find yourself fidgeting, reaching for your phone, looking for some kind of distraction. That's normal. Push through it. On the other side of that discomfort is a whole new level of clarity and power. Start small. Set aside 5 minutes a day for silent reflection. Gradually increase that time. Make it a non-negotiable part of your daily routine, just like brushing your teeth or eating breakfast. Over time, you'll start to crave these moments of silence. They'll become oases of calm in your busy day, sources of renewal and inspiration. As you develop this practice, you'll start to notice changes in how you interact with the world. You'll find yourself responding rather than reacting. You'll make decisions from a place of calm certainty rather than frantic urgency. You'll start to attract people and opportunities that align with your true self. But perhaps most importantly, you'll develop a deep sense of inner peace in a world that's constantly trying to tell you who to be, what to do, what to buy. You'll have an unshakable connection to your own truth. And that, my friends, is true freedom. Now, I want to address something that might be on some of your minds. You might be thinking, this all sounds great, but I'm an extrovert. I get my energy from interacting with others. How can silence work for me? Well, let me tell you something. Being silent doesn't mean being antisocial. It doesn't mean cutting yourself off from the world. What it means is developing the ability to be still within yourself, even in the midst of activity. It means learning to listen deeply, to observe keenly, to be fully present in your interactions. For extroverts, this might look like taking a few moments of quiet reflection before a big meeting or social event. It might mean practicing active listening in your conversation, really tuning in to what the other person is saying instead of just waiting for your turn to speak. It might mean setting aside some time each day for quiet reflection, even if it's just a few minutes. The goal is not to change who you are, but to enhance who you are, to give you access to a deeper well of creativity, insight, and personal power. Now let's talk about how this principle of silence applies to achieving your goals. Many people think that achieving their dreams is all about action. And yes, action is important. But what kind of action? Is it frantic activity born of anxiety and fear? Or is it purposeful action that comes from a place of clarity and inner knowing? When you learn to be silent, to quiet your mind and listen to your inner wisdom, you start to take the right actions at the right time. You stop wasting energy on things that don't matter and start focusing on what truly does. You become more efficient, more effective. Think about it like this. Have you ever been stuck on a problem, thinking about it constantly, turning it over and over in your mind? And then when you finally let it go, when you stop thinking about it for a while, suddenly the solution appears. That's the power of silence in action. When you quiet your mind, you create space for insights to emerge. You allow your subconscious mind to work on problems in the background. And often, the solutions that emerge are far more creative and effective than anything you could have come up with through sheer force of will. But it goes beyond just problem solving. When you cultivate silence in your life, you start to get clear on what you really want. Not what society tells you you should want, not what your fears and insecurities drive you towards, but what truly resonates with your soul. And when you get clear on that, when you align your actions with your true desires, amazing things start to happen. Doors open, opportunities appear, the right people come into your life at just the right time. It's not magic. It's what happens when you're operating from a place of authentic alignment. Now, I want to be clear about something. This doesn't mean that challenges will magically disappear from your life. Challenges are a part of growth, a part of the journey. What it does mean is that you'll face those challenges from a place of inner strength and clarity. You'll see them not as obstacles, but as opportunities for growth and learning. Think of the great leaders throughout history, the ones who made a real difference in the world. They weren't the loudest voices in the room. They weren't the ones constantly seeking attention. They were the ones who knew how to be still, how to listen, how to tap into a deeper wisdom. They understood that true power doesn't come from dominating others or making the most noise. It comes from being so centered, so clear in your purpose, that you naturally inspire others to follow your lead. That's the kind of leader you can become when you embrace silence. Whether you're leading a company, a family, or just taking charge of your own life, this principle applies. Be still, listen deeply, and let your actions speak louder than your words. Now, I want to talk about something that might be uncomfortable for some of you. When you start practicing silence, when you start turning inward and really listening to your own thoughts and feelings, you might not like everything you hear at first. You might become aware of fears you've been avoiding, of behaviors that aren't serving you, of dreams you've let slip away. This is normal. In fact, it's a crucial part of the process. Because here's the thing, you can't change what you're not aware of. By bringing these things into your consciousness, give yourself the power to address them, to heal, to grow. It's like cleaning out an attic. At first, it might seem overwhelming. You might uncover things you've forgotten, things that bring up difficult emotions. But as you sort through it all, it's about creating the space for real, lasting change in your life. As you continue this practice, as you make silence a regular part of your life, you'll start to notice changes. You'll find yourself becoming more patient, more understanding. You'll find yourself making decisions with greater ease and confidence. You'll find yourself attracting people and opportunities that align with your true self. But perhaps most importantly, you'll find yourself developing a deep sense of inner peace, a sense of being at home in yourself regardless of what's happening in the external world.
How you doing?
And in our chaotic
Nice to meet you.
that kind of inner peace is priceless. Now, I want to address something that might be on some of your minds. You might be thinking, this all sounds great, but I live in the real world. I have bills to pay, deadlines to meet, people depending on me. How can I possibly make time for silence? And I get it. I really do. We live in a world that values busyness, that often equates activity with productivity. But here's the thing. Being busy isn't the same as being effective. In fact, constant busyness can often lead to burnout, to making poor decisions, to a feeling of being constantly overwhelmed. That's where silence comes in. It's not about escaping your responsibilities. It's about enhancing your ability to meet them. When you make time for silence, even if it's just a few minutes a day, you're investing in yourself. You're sharpening your most important tool, your mind. Think of it like this. If you had a golden goose that laid golden eggs, would you run it rag? Would you push it to exhaustion? Of course not. You take care of it, nurture it, give it time to rest and rejuvenate.
Okay, I've seen some of your
Well, your mind is a golden goose.
So how do you like to get your haircut?
Problem-solving ability,
I kind of want to,
creativity.
you're the expert.
By giving
I
it
want your
regular
opinion
periods of
on
silence,
what I should do with my
you're
hair
ensuring
and my
that you
beard.
continue
I
to
changed my, I
produce
used
at
to
its
change my
highest
look a
level.
lot, and I enjoyed that.
Now, I'm not saying you need
So
to
I'm very open
dramatically
to
change your
anything.
life over
Fits
time.
my face the best.
Start small. Maybe
you
it's
can
5
see
minutes
kind
of
of
quiet
the,
reflection in the morning.
Y'all, can y'all get some pictures? They gonna get you some pictures. My homework is always let me and tell me what they want. Cause I've been doing this for 20 years. 90% of the time when I come up with what I think, it's not what you want.
Sure.
So usually when you give me a boundary of your look,
100%.
I understand it. Instead of being like, oh, give me this look. I like that boundary look of,
I agree.
oh, okay.
I think the joint effort, joint decision is how I prefer to work best.
And then, yeah.
So I like the look of a fade a lot of times, but obviously that needs more maintenance, you know? So I don't want it too hardcore like that.
Okay.
I like it more like this, if we do a fade look, right? I've always liked the high pump. I'm a shorter guy, so doing some sort of a high pump, this is my wedding, like doing a higher pump like that, but maybe a little tighter. With beard, I keep trying this beard look.
I want some Google, so we can go through some Google pictures. Okay, go ahead.
My beard, it doesn't do it for me in the sense of, I grow it really patchy, I've never been able to fill in these spots. What can we do to give me a better look and lower maintenance? You know, I used to have it look like this. I could be open to something like that again. Would a scruff look good on me? I want your opinion on what you think facially we can do to give me a better overall look or less maintenance.
My opinion, being really honest, is what you like. It's not what I like. I can give you all that look, the scruffy look, amazing.
But does it work for someone who's as
it's
hairless, kind of patchy, can't grow a thick full beard?
It's like your fingerprint. It looks good. It is only thing that's stopping it from looking good is you. If you think it looks good, you like, I love the way I look like that. It looks good. All you need to do is just clean it up. All you doing is clean it up. If you like, no, I don't like the patchy, then you don't like the patchy. So now you want to take the patchy off. It's really all your hair, your look, your image. That's like I never go into nowhere and tell somebody how I want them to make me look.
But what you've been doing this for so long. So what I like is that, hey, Chirag, you have a rounder face. It's not as long. This could work better. Hey, with this, maybe we cut it like this, so it gives you this edge and a jawline. I want your tips and advice on that, and then I'll make the decision on which way to go with it. But give me your advice on your opinion on, I have thin hair, I got a cowlick in the back. What can we do to work with my
So the only thing I'm
flaws?
gonna tell you is, look at the 99.9999%, however you wanna look, you can look like it. Then that's where I'm gonna come in and be like, okay, this is how we achieve this goal. I really love this all around look, and then as a professional, I'm going to give you some tips and tricks of how to get to that goal of what you want. But me coming up with all in that make their neck look like this. Now I say stop doing that. That's the only advice I get. 90%. But if you look at my Google reviews, I have nothing but 5 stars because at the end of the day, I give kings what they want. It's a lot. My brain go from 0 to 1,000. So when you give me your look, I'm like, oh, okay, look, like you just said, a high pump. That means, in my head, I just automatically said, don't touch the top of his head. You don't want to see nothing come off of that. If you want a high pump, don't. So my brain just said, Tasha, don't touch the top of his head. Now your scruffy on your face, that's a preference. That's a 1,000,000,000,000% preference. You can go from, and that's why I say look at pictures, because you can just, I wonder if I can pull this off. You'll be super surprised if you can and kind of like, you can't pull that off. Like if somebody with short thin hair come in with an American hair with a low fade, and no, you can't do that.
Gotcha.
But if you come in here and say, I really would love for my beard to kind of look like this, or if I can make it, then I can tell you, oh, this is what we can do to get there. But other than that, it's hard for me to be like, I used to do that in my younger years. I'm grown, I'm older now. Now that I'm in my doctorate in here, because I'm in my doctorate season, I realize it's making you feel your most confident best. So when I know what you want, then I can tell you how do we get there.
Perfect. So
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I do right now.
Okay.
Because this is my most important thing. This is what I do. Go here. On my part. Right. I do this. Throw this down. I got my cowlick in the back. It's kind of grown out, so it's fine right now. And this is, now I'll throw a little product in there just to keep it. Now I think I can do better than this. This is my day look. And I think I can do something a little better than this. When I want to dress it up, I put in gel, blow dry it the opposite way, throw my pump up, and I'm fun for an evening out, you know? So what can we do to give me a better daily that looks like I did a little bit more, but I don't want to look like I have a product in there. So give me a product I can use that doesn't look like I'm using product. give me a style that I can do daily that's easy that I don't have to bust a blow dryer out for, and then let's do.
I'm listening to you. Can somebody give me some pictures? I need Google pictures so we can somebody. I just need give me Google so we can get here. My assistant should have been here. I'm sorry.
You're fine. This
This is
beard
nice.
I did for my wedding, I loved,
Okay.
but it was too much maintenance because I can't do it at home to make it look good.
Okay.
So I don't want to go back to this. So that's why I've chopped it off myself a bit. Because it's not. This is a look that I enjoyed, and I've thought about, can I do something, because this makes me look very young, can I do something that keeps me looking just a little bit more mature?
I'm just gonna do exactly what you tell me to do.
Okay.
That's what I'm gonna do. So what I'm listening to is you want that.
I think, that's not kind of,
Yeah, you gotta
I'm
tell me
worried
what
about
you want me.
Yeah, no, I know.
I'm big on it. You gotta tell me.
I'm with you.
Cause if I do something that I think that we should do, then we doing it,
Look,
then we just constantly going in circles.
To me, this is our first experience together, you know?
I will tell
and
you
because
that.
I want you to be creative,
Yeah.
you know? And maybe your
You
clients don't.
you are
I
my
want your
creator.
creativity to come
Yeah.
out. Yeah, I don't mind changing my look. It all grows back.
Yeah.
I want you to give me. I've given you a lot of information about
Yeah.
me and my style. And
Yeah.
work, but I
I'm
want
still
business
waiting on what
wise,
you want me to do. I'm gonna get on my system. But yeah, you just tell me how you want your fade, tell me how you want it, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do exactly what you tell me to do. You sure you don't want a harsh fade, so I wouldn't look at nothing that got that harsh fade look. Like a harsh fade, a
Yeah,
harsh
I know.
fade. So yeah, I wouldn't look at no pictures that got a harsh fade. It look like, when you don't want no harsh fade, it's kinda like what you got now. That's not a fade. And then you get to play with that. The longer your hair is, the more you get to play with it. The shorter,
kind of cleaner like that, like a low fade maybe type of deal. Is that what that is? You know?
yeah, got it. So I got that in my head. So now we got the fade, we got the top. Now we got to just do the beard.
Dude, so this look seems cool as shit.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I don't know if I can pull it out.
Yeah, you can.
I can?
Yeah.
Even
It's a
though
5
I'm
o'clock
rolling
shadow.
stuff here, like this is gonna be bald here when we get there.
It is.
And is that gonna work? That's my problem.
Let me see.
Cause see, he can grow it thick one if he wants. I
Yeah.
can't. That's what worries me. So I don't
Yeah,
have to.
yours is gonna, since you did show me your ball under there, no, that ain't gonna
I
happen.
ain't gonna work. Right? Sorry, yeah, they're getting a call. It's important.
Design. Here's my phone. We still. Can I, what is my phone? Can we get some pictures? I need pictures. You can tell you. This is a low table thing,
Okay.
but like I said, I'm not gonna be still on the one. I'm not, I just promise you, you're not gonna get it out of me. But it's not gonna
She's
happen.
like, I know what you want, Chirag. You
Yeah.
want me to give you the answer.
I'm
I'm not
not.
gonna give you the answer.
I'm not.
I'm trying to cheat on the test.
Yeah, no, I know, a lot of people do that. But I let them do their homework. The best person to give you your ideas is your wife.
No, that's
I'm like, what your wife say? You tell her, give me some opinions. She
Girl,
gonna
I look
go
beautiful to her
crazy.
always. All right?
Yeah, but she's gonna be like, oh, she's gonna be more, that's my husband.
Yeah.
Now, when I tell him, hey, I think you should, but your wife is gonna be your, have you ever tried this? But that's who you gotta go home to. I don't know your lifestyle. She know your lifestyle. She knows way more about you than me. That wife is gonna tell you exactly how she wants you to look. Trust me. You be like, can you send me some haircut style? She gonna be like, ding, 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 ding. I'm like, dang, I just said one, didn't I? Dark hair, dark hair.
It's not total skin fade like that, but
We looking at the beard. I kind of got his. I kind of got the fade. I just need the beard look. Where my phone? Tell Bree should have been dead if it's over the phone.
I can't grow the beard and look that way. That's a problem. So thin and gappy. Well, I just don't know if my scrub will look like that, you know? This is kind of good. I like this look overall, clean, good fade, you know, it's not too deep, 5 o'clock shadow type of look, you know? And then maybe just keep the goat and have the rest 5 o'clock shadow.
Okay. Let's see. She's a perfectionist, so she like to, you know.
I like that.
She wanna give you exactly what you want.
To connect with your true self. To making poor decisions, to a feeling of being constantly overwhelmed. That's where silence comes in. It's not about escaping your responsibilities.
Let's get started.
It's about enhancing your ability to meet them. When you make time for silence, even if it's just a few minutes a day, you're investing in yourself. You're sharpening your most important tool, your mind. Think of it like this. If you had a golden goose that laid golden eggs, would you run it rag? Would you push it to exhaustion? Of course not. You take care of it, nurture it, give it time to rest and rejuvenate. Well, your mind is that golden goose. It's the source of your ideas, your problem-solving abilities, your creativity. By giving it regular periods of silence, you're ensuring that it can continue to produce at its highest level. Now, I'm not saying you need to dramatically change your life overnight. Start small. Maybe it's 5 minutes of quiet reflection in the morning before you start your day. Maybe it's a silent walk during your lunch break. Maybe it's turning off the radio during your commute and just being with your thoughts. As you start to experience the benefits of these moments in silence,
Women, I don't
you'll
know what
naturally
I need you to know. You know what? That is the most important thing.
I'm
You see
gonna
what
learn.
we're listening to?
Yeah,
That's why I be like, this is your responsibility.
I'm gonna learn through trial and error.
Yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah.
As you
And
create
then once you learn, you gotta know your look. You gotta learn it. Like, this is how
I'm
I
changing
like
it up
to
though. I like to keep it fresh.
Yeah, and then even that,
Because you're operating from a place
you
of
know
clarity.
how you like to change it up. Like, come on, let me go and do my homework. When I want to change my style, I go do homework. I
Prioritize
go do
your
my
life
homework for my style.
and
Okay,
wasting
hold on,
less
what do you
energy
want?
on unnecessary tasks. Now let's talk about how this principle of silence applies to your relationships. In our hyper-connected world, we often confuse constant
Because once you do it,
communication with
it's
true
you.
connection.
And
We
it's
think
your
that always
responsibility.
being
And
available,
then
always
you
having
just
something to
got what
say,
you
is a strong
want.
relationship.
Don't get this.
But is it really? Think about the people you feel closest to, the relationships that are most meaningful to you. I bet those relationships aren't characterized by constant chatter. I bet they're the ones where you can sit in comfortable silence together, where you can communicate volumes without saying a word. When you cultivate silence in your life, you bring that quality to your relationships. You become a better listener, more attuned to the unspoken needs and feelings of others. You become more present, more fully engaged in your interactions. And that, my friends, is the foundation of deep, meaningful connections. But it goes beyond just your personal relationships. This principle applies in business, in leadership, in any situation where you're interacting with others. When you're comfortable with silence, you project a quiet confidence that others respond to. You're not scrambling to fill every moment with words. You're listening, observing, gathering information before you speak. Think about the most effective negotiators, the most inspiring leaders. They're not the ones who talk the most. They're the ones who know when to speak and when to be silent. They understand the power of a well-placed pause, of giving others the space to fill the silence. Now, I want to address something that might be challenging for some of you. When you start practicing silence, when you start turning inward, you might encounter some uncomfortable truths about yourself. You might become aware of habits or patterns that aren't serving you. You might realize that some of the goals you've been chasing aren't really what you want. This can be scary. It might feel like the ground is shifting beneath your feet. But I want you to understand something. This discomfort is a sign of growth. It's a sign that you're getting in touch with your authentic self, perhaps for the first time in years. And here's the beautiful thing. Once you become aware of these truths, you have the power to change them. You can start aligning your life with what truly matters to you. And when you do that, when you start living from a place of authenticity, that's when the magic really happens. You'll find that you have more energy, more enthusiasm for life. You'll find that opportunities start coming your way. Opportunities that align with your true self, not just with the person you thought you were supposed to be. You'll find that your relationships become deeper, more meaningful, because you're showing up. Now, I want to talk about something that's crucial to understand as you embark on this journey of silence. It's not always going to be easy. In fact, at first, it might be downright uncomfortable. We live in a world of constant noise and distraction. And when you start to remove those distractions, it can feel unsettling. You might find that your mind races, that you're suddenly aware of all the thoughts and feelings you've been avoiding. You might feel restless, anxious, even bored. This is normal. In fact, it's part of the process. Think of it like this. If you've been in a noisy room for hours and then suddenly step into silence, your ears might ring for a while. But as you adjust, you start to hear things you couldn't hear before. The rustle of leaves, the distant song of a bird. The same thing happens when you start cultivating silence in your life. At first, the contrast might be jarring. But as you stick with it, you start to tune into subtler frequencies. You start to hear the whispers of your intuition, the quiet voice of your true self. So if you find yourself struggling with silence at first, don't give up. Push through the discomfort. On the other side of that discomfort is a whole new level of clarity, peace, and personal power. Now let's talk about how this principle of silence can transform your career or business. In the business world, there's often a premium placed on being heard, on making your voice known. And yes, there are times when speaking up is important, but there's also immense power in knowing when to be silent. When you cultivate silence, you develop the ability to observe keenly, to listen deeply. And in business, information is power. By being silent, by truly listening, you gather valuable insights that others might miss. You pick up on subtle cues, on unspoken needs and desires, and that gives you a significant advantage. Think about the most successful entrepreneurs and business leaders. They're not just good talkers, they're excellent listeners. They know how to be silent, how to create space for others to share their thoughts and ideas. And it's often in those moments of silence that the most valuable insights emerge. But it goes beyond just gathering information. When you operate from a place of inner silence, you make better decisions. You're not reactive, jumping at every opportunity or threat. Instead, you're responsive, taking thoughtful, considered action based on deep understanding. And here's something fascinating. When you cultivate this quality of inner silence, people notice. They're drawn to your calm presence, your quiet confidence. In a world of noise and hype, someone who knows the power of silence stands out. They become a center of gravity, attracting opportunities and resources. Now, I want to talk about how this principle of silence applies personal growth is all about acquiring new knowledge, new skills, new experiences, and yes, those things are important. But true transformation often happens in the spaces between, in the moments of silence and reflection. When you create space for silence in your life, you give yourself the opportunity to integrate your experiences, to really absorb the lessons life is teaching you. You give yourself the chance to hear your own inner wisdom, to get in touch with your deepest values and desires. Think of it like this. If you're constantly filling a cup with water, it will eventually overflow. But if you give the water time to settle, to be absorbed, the cup can hold more. The same is true with personal growth. By creating periods of silence and reflection, you allow yourself to truly absorb and integrate new knowledge and experiences. But it goes beyond just absorbing information. In silence, you also give yourself the space to dream, to envision new possibilities for your life. In our busy, noisy world, it's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day, to lose sight of our bigger dreams and aspirations. Silence gives you the opportunity to reconnect with those dreams, to imagine new possibilities. And here's the thing. When you get clear on what you truly want, when you align your actions with your deepest values and desires, amazing things start to happen. You start to attract the right opportunities. You find yourself having more energy, more enthusiasm for life. You become magnetic, drawing people and resources that align with your vision. Now, I want to address something that might be on some of your minds. You might be thinking, this all sounds great, but I'm not sure I can do it. I'm not sure I can be silent. My mind is always racing, and I get it. In our fast-paced, hyper-connected world, the idea of being silent can seem daunting, even impossible. But here's the thing. Silence is a skill. Like any skill, it takes practice. And the good news is, anyone can learn it. Start small. Maybe it's just 1 minute of silence a day. Set a timer, close your eyes, and just focus on your breath. Don't worry if your mind wanders. That's normal. Just gently bring your attention back to your breath each time you notice you've been distracted. As you get more comfortable with this practice, gradually increase the time. Maybe it's 2 minutes, then 5, then 10. Before you know it, you'll find yourself craving these moments of silence. They'll become oases of calm in your busy day, sources of renewal and inspiration. And here's something fascinating. As you develop this skill of being silent, you'll find that it starts to permeate other areas of your life. You'll find yourself naturally becoming more patient, more focused, more present in your daily activities. You'll find yourself making better decisions, responding rather than reacting to life's challenges. Now, I want to talk about something that's crucial to understand as you embark on this journey of silence. It's not about escaping from the world. It's not about disconnecting from life. On the contrary, it's about engaging with life more fully, more authentically. When you cultivate silence, you're not running away from anything. You're running towards your true self. You're creating space to hear your own inner wisdom, to get in touch with your deepest values and desires. And when you operate from that place of inner knowing, you engage with the world in a much more powerful way. Think of it like this. A tree needs strong roots to withstand storms and reach towards the sky. In the same way, by cultivating inner silence, you're developing strong roots. You're creating a solid foundation from which you can reach out and engage with the world. And here's the beautiful thing. When you engage with the world from this place of inner silence, you bring a quality of presence, of authenticity that others respond to. You become a source of calm in a chaotic world. You become someone others trust, someone others want to be around. Now, as we near the end of our time together, I want to leave you with a challenge. For the next week, I want you to commit to creating at least 5 minutes of silence in your day. It can be first thing in the morning, during your lunch break, or right before bed. Find a time that works for you. During these 5 minutes, don't try to do anything. Don't try to solve problems or make plans. Just be. Just breathe. allow yourself to be silent. At first, it might feel uncomfortable. You might find your mind racing, filled with thoughts and worries. That's okay. Just notice those thoughts without judging them and gently bring your attention back to your breath. As you continue this practice, you might start to notice changes. You might find yourself feeling calmer, more centered. You might find that you're making better decisions, that you're more in tune with your true desires and goals. But even if you don't notice any immediate changes, stick with it. The benefits of silence often accumulate subtly over time. It's like working out. You might not see results after one session, but if you keep at it consistently, the changes can be profound. Remember, in a world that's constantly telling you to speak up, to make noise, to promote yourself, choosing to be silent is a radical act. It's a declaration that you value your inner world, that you trust your own wisdom. So embrace silence. Make it a part of your daily life. Use it as a tool to clarify your thoughts, to connect with your true self, to enhance your effectiveness in every area of your life. Because here's the truth. Everything you need, everything you're seeking, is already within you. In the silence, you give yourself the chance to hear it, to connect with it, to live from it. And when you do that, when you align your life with your true self, that's when you'll find that you truly can have everything in your life. Not because you chased after it or fought for it, but because you created the inner conditions for it to naturally flow to you. So be silent, listen deeply, trust your inner wisdom, and watch as your life transforms in ways you never thought possible. To fail. Instead, you need rituals. You need habits. You need automatic behaviors that happen regardless of your internal state. Let me give you an example. I decided a long time ago that the first 2 hours of my day were non-negotiable. That time was for my most important work, period. Not after I checked email. Not after I felt ready. First thing, before the world woke up and started making demands. Before my energy got depleted by other people's agendas. Before my feelings had a chance to talk me out of it. So here's what that looked like practically. The alarm went off at the same time every day. Not some days, every day. I didn't ask myself if I felt like getting up. I didn't negotiate with myself. The alarm meant get up, and I got up. Then I had a simple routine. Same every morning. Make coffee. Review the plan for the day. Start work immediately on the number one priority. No warm-up. No easing into it. No checking what happened overnight. Just straight into the deep work. And you know what happened? After a few weeks of this, it stopped being hard. My brain learned that this is what we do. The feelings didn't go away completely, but they got quieter. The resistance was still there, but it was weaker. The system was carrying me forward. That's what most people miss. They think they need to feel motivated every day. They think successful people have some special gene that makes discipline easy. That's not true. What successful people have is systems that make discipline inevitable. They've designed their environment and their routine so that the default action is the right action. They've removed as many decision points as possible because every decision is an opportunity for feelings to hijack the process. Think about it this way. If you have to decide every morning whether to work out, you'll find reasons not to about half the time. But if your workout clothes are laid out, your gym bag is packed, your appointment is scheduled, and you've told your workout partner you'll be there, suddenly it's much harder to skip. You've created friction around the wrong choice and made the right choice, the path of least resistance. That's not about motivation, that's about engineering. That's about being smarter than your feelings. And let's talk about the lies your feelings tell you when you're in the middle of executing your plan. This isn't working fast enough. That's a feeling, not a fact. Progress is often invisible until it isn't. You're falling behind. Compared to what? Compared to the imaginary timeline where everything goes perfectly. That timeline doesn't exist. Maybe you're not cut out for this. Based on what evidence? Based on the fact that it's hard. Everything worthwhile is hard. You can take today off. You've been working so hard. You deserve a break. This is the most dangerous lie of all, because it sounds so reasonable, and maybe you do deserve a break. But this isn't about what you deserve. This is about what you committed to. This is about what kind of person you're becoming. I'll tell you what I started doing that changed everything. Every morning before I looked at my plan, I'd ask myself one question. What would the person I'm trying to become do today? Not what do I feel like doing. Not what would be easy or comfortable or convenient. What would that future version of me, the one who's already achieved what I'm working toward, what would that person do? And then I'd do that thing, even if I didn't feel like it. Especially if I didn't feel like it. Because the gap between who I was and who I wanted to become could only be closed by doing things that the current me didn't want to do, but the future me would do automatically. This is the daily battle. This is where you earn your future. Not in the big moments. Not when you're excited and motivated and everything is going well. But on Tuesday morning when you're tired. On Thursday afternoon when you're discouraged. On Saturday when everyone else is relaxing and you're still working. Those moments, those decisions, those tiny acts of honoring your plan over your feelings, that's where transformation happens. That's where you become someone different. Someone stronger. Someone who can be counted on. Someone who finishes what they start. Now let me tell you what happens when you actually stick to this thing. When you kill the feelings day after day and honor your plan week after week, month after month, something remarkable starts to occur, and it's not what most people expect. See, most people think the reward is the goal itself. They think it's about getting the money, achieving the body, building the business, writing the book, and sure, those things are nice. But that's not the real prize. The real prize is who you become in the process. I've watched this transformation happen in people over the years, and it's always the same pattern. In the beginning, they're white-knuckling it. They're fighting themselves every single day. The plan says do this, feelings say do that, and it's a war. But they keep showing up. They keep doing the work. And somewhere around the 90-day mark, something shifts. The resistance is still there, but it's not as loud. The feelings still try to derail them, but they don't have the same power. What's happening is they're rewiring themselves. They're building new neural pathways. They're creating a new identity. Because here's what nobody tells you about discipline and consistency. It's not just about getting results. It's about becoming the kind of person who gets results. There's a massive difference. You can get lucky and stumble into a wind. You can ride a wave and end up somewhere good. But that doesn't change who you are at the core. But when you do the work day after day, when you prove to yourself repeatedly that your word is law, when you demonstrate that you're the kind of person who finishes what they start regardless of circumstances, that changes everything. That becomes your identity. And once it's your identity, you don't need motivation anymore. You don't need someone to pump you up. You don't need to wait for the feeling. You just do what needs to be done because that's who you are now. I think about compound interest a lot. Einstein supposedly called it the eighth wonder of the world. And most people think about compound interest in terms of money. You invest a little bit regularly, and over time, it grows into something substantial. But compound interest applies to everything. It applies to your actions. It applies to your character. Every time you honor your plan over your feelings, you're making a deposit. Every time you do what you said you'd do when you didn't feel like it, that's a deposit. And just like with money, you don't see much happening at first. The first few months you're working hard and it feels like nothing is changing. But you keep making deposits. You keep showing up. You keep executing the plan. Then one day you look up and you barely recognize yourself.
I'm still doing the mustache.
You've got momentum now. You've got evidence. You've got proof that you can do hard things. And that proof becomes fuel. It becomes confidence, real confidence. Not the fake kind that comes from affirmations, but the earned kind that comes from doing things you didn't think you could do. That kind of confidence is unshakable. Nobody can take it from you because you built it yourself, one decision at a time, one day at a time, one kept promise at a time. And here's the beautiful part. Once you've done this in one area of your life, you realize you can do it anywhere.
The person who learns to stick to a fitness plan regardless of feelings can apply that same principle to their business. The person who builds a daily writing habit through sheer consistency can use that same approach to build wealth or relationships or anything else they want. The skill transfers. The character transfers. You're not just achieving a goal. You're becoming a different caliber of human being. Think about what this means for your children if you haven't. Think about what this means for the people watching your life. When they see you stick to your plan through difficulty, through setbacks, through the times when you have every excuse to quit, what are you teaching them? You're teaching them that commitments matter. You're teaching them that feelings are not facts. You're teaching them that character is built in private, in those moments when nobody is watching, when you either keep your word to yourself or you don't. That's a legacy. That's worth more than any amount of money you could leave them. But it starts with a decision. It starts with you deciding right now, today, that you're done being ruled by feelings, that you're done making plans you don't follow, that you're done with the cycle of excitement and disappointment, of starting strong and fading fast. It starts with you choosing to become someone different, someone who means what they say, someone whose word is solid, someone who can be counted on, especially by themselves. So let me ask you this. What's the one thing you've been saying you're going to do but haven't done because you haven't felt like it? What's the plan you've been avoiding because you know it will require you to show up even on the hard days? What's the commitment you need to make to yourself that will change everything if you actually honor it? Whatever that is, that's your starting point. That's where you begin the journey from being feeling-driven to being plan-driven, from being reactive to being intentional, from being ordinary to being exceptional. Make the plan. Write it down. Make it specific and clear. Then tomorrow morning, when the feelings show up and try to negotiate, when they give you all the reasons why today isn't the day, when they make their case for comfort over commitment, you look at that plan and you do what it says anyway. You kill those feelings and you stick to that plan. You do it tomorrow. You do it the day after. You do it until it stops being who you are. That's how you change your life. That's how you close the gap between where you are and where you want to be. One decision at a time. One day at a time. One kept promise at a time. You know, I've watched more talented people fail than I care to remember. And here's what breaks my heart about it. They didn't fail because they lacked ability. They didn't fail because the opportunity wasn't there. They failed because they were doing 17 things when they should have been doing one. Let me tell you something that took me years to understand. The person who chases 2 rabbits catches neither. And in today's world, most people aren't chasing 2 rabbits, they're chasing 20. I remember when I was 25 years old, broke, with nothing in the bank and pennies in my pocket. I had big dreams, sure. Everybody's got dreams. But I was scattered like leaves in the wind. On Monday, I get excited about real estate. By Wednesday, I was looking into starting a restaurant. Friday rolled around and I was convinced my future was in sales. Maybe a different product, a different company. I was like a butterfly, landing on every flower, but never staying long enough to gather any nectar. And you know what I had to show for all that activity? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because motion without focus is just exhausting confusion. Here's what I finally learned. And this changed everything for me. Working hard is not enough. You can work yourself to the bone, put in 16-hour days, hustle until your feet hurt, your eyes won't stay open, and still end up with nothing if your energy is scattered in too many directions. The marketplace doesn't reward effort. It rewards results. And results come from focus, sustained, intelligent effort applied to one thing long enough for it to multiply and compound. Think about the sun for a minute. The sun's energy hits the earth every single day. It warms things up, sure, but it doesn't set anything on fire. Now take that same energy, that same light, and focus it through a magnifying glass onto one spot. What happens? You can start a fire. You can burn through paper, through wood, through materials that seem impossible to affect with just warmth. Same energy, different focus. That's the difference between a life of struggle and a life of achievement. It's not about getting more energy, more time, more time. It's about focusing what you already have, but problem is that we live in a world designed to destroy your focus. Every app on your phone wants your attention. Every notification is designed by some of the smartest people in the world whose only job is to interrupt you. Every advertisement, every email, every text message is pulling you in a different direction. And if you're not careful, if you don't stand guard at the door of your mind, you'll spend your entire life responding to other people's agendas instead of pursuing your own. Let me share something with you about the seasons of life, because this is crucial. Life operates in seasons just like nature does. There's a time to plant, a time to cultivate, a time to harvest, and yes, a time when winter comes. Winter is not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Economic winters, personal winters, unexpected challenges that test everything you think you know about yourself. Now, here's the question. When winter comes, will you be ready? The person who has scattered their energy in good times has nothing stored up when the difficult times arrive. But the person who focused, who built something substantial, who developed real skills and real value in one area, that person survives the winter. That person thrives, while others are just trying to survive. I learned this the hard way. When I was struggling, when I couldn't pay my bills and I had to face my creditors and explain why I didn't have what I owed them, it wasn't because I was lazy. I was working, I was busy, but I wasn't focused. I was doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that, hoping something would work out. Hope is not a strategy. Activity is not achievement. You got to pick something, commit to it, and stay with it long enough to get extraordinary at it. You know what I notice about wealthy people? They guard their focus like it's their most precious possession, because it is. They don't take every meeting. They don't chase every opportunity. They don't read every email or answer every phone call. They've learned something that most people never figure out. Your attention is your most valuable resource. Not your time, your focused attention. You can give someone your time and still be thinking about 17 other things. But when you give focused attention, when you're fully present and engaged with one pursuit, that's when magic happens. I'll tell you what focus really is. It's the ability to say no. No to good opportunities so you can say yes to great ones. No to distractions that seem urgent but aren't important. No to people who want a piece of your time but aren't going to help you build your future. And here's what's interesting. The word no is one of the shortest words in the English language, but it's one of the hardest for most people to say. They're afraid of missing out. They're afraid of offending someone. They're afraid that if they don't grab every opportunity that comes along, they'll regret it later. But let me tell you what you'll really regret. You'll regret being 70 years old and looking back at a life of scattered effort. You'll regret having tried 100 things and mastered none of them. You'll regret listening to everyone else's opinion about what you should do instead of committing to the one thing that made your heart race and your mind come alive. That's the regret that stings. Not the road you didn't take, but the road you started down and abandoned before you saw where it led. When I finally made the decision to focus, and I mean really focus, something shifted inside me. It wasn't easy at first. My mind wanted to wander. New opportunities would come up and I'd be tempted to chase them. People would tell me about this hot stock or that can't-miss business venture, and I'd feel that old pull toward distraction. But I had made a commitment to myself. I was going to master one thing. I was going to become so good at my craft that people would seek me out, that I would become valuable beyond measure in my field. And here's what nobody tells you about focus. At first, it feels like you're missing out. Everyone else seems to be doing 10 things while you're doing one. They're busy. They're excited. They've got their hands in multiple pots. And you're just there, working on your one thing, day after day after day. It can feel boring. It can feel like you're falling behind. But you're not falling behind. Yourself up to leap ahead. While they're spreading themselves thin, you're going deep. While they're learning a little bit about a lot of things, you're becoming a master of one thing. The marketplace pays for mastery. It pays extraordinary rewards for people who can do one thing at a level most people never reach. Think about it. A general practitioner doctor makes a good living. But a heart surgeon who specializes in one specific procedure, they make an extraordinary living. A lawyer does fine. But a trial attorney who focuses exclusively on one type of case and becomes the best in the country at it, they can write their own ticket. The riches are in the niches, but you've got to stay in the niche long enough to own it. Here's the truth that most people don't want to hear. You're probably already doing too much. Right now, today, you've got too many projects going, too many commitments, too many things pulling at you, and the quality of everything you're doing is suffering because of it. You're producing B-level work in 5 areas when you could be producing A-plus work in 1 area. And B-level work gets B-level results, which means a B-level life. Is that really what you want, to be mediocre at multiple things? Or would you rather be exceptional at one thing? I made my decision years ago, and it changed everything. I decided I was going to become the best I could possibly be at understanding human potential and teaching personal development. Not human potential in real estate. Not personal development in the stock market. Just one thing. And you know what happened? The more focused I became, the better I got. The better I got, the more valuable I became. The more valuable I became, the more opportunities came to me. But here's the key. By then, I had learned to say no to opportunities that would pull me away from my focus. I had learned that the path to extraordinary results is narrow, not wide. It requires saying no to good things so you can say yes to great things. Let me ask you something, and I want you to really think about this. What's the one thing that if you focused on it exclusively for the next 5 years would completely transform your life? Not 5 things. Not 3 things. One thing. What is it? And more importantly, why aren't you doing it? What's stopping you from making that commitment today, right now, to become unstoppable in that one area? Because I'll tell you what's stopping most people. Fear. Fear of commitment. Fear of missing out. Fear of going all in on something and having it not work out. But let me tell you about a different kind of fear you should have. The fear of reaching the end of your life and realizing you never gave yourself fully to anything. That you dabbled, you sampled, you tried, but you never committed. You never went deep enough to find out what you were truly capable of achieving. This is your moment. This is your turning point. You can keep doing what you've been doing. Spreading yourself thin. Busy but not productive. Active but not achieving. Or you can make a different choice. You can choose focus. You can choose to stop dabbling and start dominating. You can choose to become unstoppable in one area instead of mediocre in many. The choice is yours. But I'll tell you this, the clock is ticking and time is not on our side. Every day you wait is another day of scattered energy producing scattered results. Every day you delay is another day you're not building the momentum that compounds into something extraordinary. So what's it going to be? Now, making the decision to focus is one thing. Actually doing it day after day after day, that's something else entirely. You know, I've met thousands of people over the years who had that moment of clarity, that flash of insight where they said, yes, this is it. This is what I'm going to do. They were fired up, ready to conquer the world. And then Monday morning came. And then the alarm went off. And then real life started happening. And all that excitement from the weekend seminar or the motivational book started to fade like morning fog in the sunlight. Here's what I learned about discipline. And this might be the most important thing I ever share with you. Discipline is not about massive action. It's about consistent action. It's not about what you do once in a while with great enthusiasm. It's about what you do every single day with quiet determination. See, everyone wants the harvest, but nobody wants to plant in the cold ground. Everyone wants the championship, but nobody wants to practice when they're tired. Everyone wants to be unstoppable, but nobody wants to do the boring, repetitive work that creates unstoppable momentum. Let me tell you a story about my mentor, Mr. Schoaf. When I started working for him, I thought success was about big moves, dramatic gestures, those Hollywood moments where everything changes in an instant. But Earl Schoaf taught me something different. He showed me his daily routine, and you know what? It was boring. He read for an hour every morning, same time, every day. He made his business calls between 9 and 11 every day. He reviewed his goals and plans every evening before dinner, every single day. And I remember thinking, is this it? Is this the secret? And he looked at me and said, Jim, most people think success is complicated. It's not. It's simple. But simple doesn't mean easy. That phrase changed my life. Simple doesn't mean easy. Reading for an hour is simple. Anyone can do it. But doing it every day for 5 years, for 10 years, for 20 years, that's not easy. Making those business calls when you don't feel like it, when you got rejected yesterday, when it's raining and you'd rather stay in bed, that's not easy. But here's what compounds. Those simple daily disciplines done consistently over time create results that seem like magic to people who don't understand the process. I call it the slight edge. Every day you make choices that are either taking you toward your goals or away from them. The choices themselves seem insignificant. Reading 10 pages or watching television for an hour in the moment, it doesn't seem to matter. The consequences of that choice won't show up until much later. Eating a healthy meal or grabbing fast food today, right now, your body looks the same either way. But 6 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, those daily choices have compounded into completely different realities. The problem is that bad habits compound just as powerfully as good habits. Skip your reading today and you're not noticeably dumber. But skip it every day for a year and you're a year behind where you could have been. Miss one workout and your body doesn't fall apart. But miss workouts consistently for months and suddenly you're out of shape, tired all the time and wondering why life feels so hard. The slight edge cuts both ways. It either works for you or against you, but it's always working. You want to know why most people quit right before the breakthrough happens? Because there's this period, I call it the valley of disappointment, where you're doing everything right, but you're not seeing results yet. You're putting in the work, you're staying focused, you're being disciplined, but the marketplace hasn't caught up to your effort yet. Your bank account looks the same, your circumstances haven't changed, and your mind starts playing tricks on you. It says, see, this isn't working, you should try something else. You should go back to what you were doing before, or maybe try that other opportunity you heard about. But here's what you've got to understand. Success is not linear. You don't put in 1 unit of effort and get 1 unit of result. You put in 1 unit of effort and get nothing. You put in another unit and get nothing. You put in 10 units, 20 units, 50 units, and still nothing. And then, if you keep going, if you don't quit, something magical happens. The results don't trickle in, they pour in. Everything you've been building suddenly catches fire and people think you're an overnight success. They don't see the years of daily discipline. They don't see the hundreds of times you wanted to quit but didn't. They just see the harvest and think it came easy. Let me talk to you about personal philosophy for a minute, because this is what carries you through when the discipline gets hard. Your philosophy is the set of ideas you live by, the beliefs that guide your decisions when nobody's watching. And here's what I discovered. You've got to develop a philosophy that makes discipline meaningful. If your only reason for staying focused is to make money, you won't make it. Money's not strong enough. Why? When things get tough, and they will get tough, you need a philosophy that goes deeper than dollars and cents. My philosophy became this. I am not just building a business or a career. I am building myself. Every day I stay disciplined, I am becoming a different person. I am developing the character, the strength, the capabilities that will serve me for the rest of my life. The money will come and go. The opportunities will change. But the person I become through this process, that's mine forever. Nobody can take that away from me. And that philosophy sustained me through the hard days, the disappointing days, the days when everything seemed to be going wrong. You know what else I learned? There's a pain of discipline and a pain of regret. The pain of discipline weighs ounces. The pain of regret weighs tons. When that alarm goes off early in the morning and you're warm in bed and you don't want to get up and do what you know you should do, that's the pain of discipline. It's uncomfortable. It's inconvenient. But it's light. It's manageable. You can handle it. But the pain of regret, that's heavy. That's looking back at your life and saying, I could have, I should have, I wish I had. That pain is crushing, it's permanent. It's the weight you carry every day for the rest of your life. So here's what I did, and I recommend you do the same. I started tracking my progress. Not just my results, but my disciplines. Because results lag behind effort. But disciplines are something you can control today. I kept a journal. Did I do my reading today? Check. Did I make my calls? Check. Did I work on my craft for my focused hour? Check. And you know what those check marks did? They created momentum. They created proof that I was becoming the kind of person who does what they say they're going to do. And that self-respect, that personal pride in honoring your commitments to yourself, That's more valuable than any amount of money. But let me warn you about something. When you get focused and disciplined, when you start making real progress, there are going to be people who try to pull you back down. I call them dream stealers. They're not necessarily bad people. Often they're family, friends, people who care about you. But they're uncomfortable with your growth because it highlights their lack of growth. When you stop going out every weekend because you're working on your goals, they'll say you've changed, that you're not fun anymore. When you stop participating in gossip and complaining sessions because you're guarding your mental state, they'll